The classic Rosso Corsa with a strong presence of white on the wings and side panels, reflecting the essence of early 80s Ferrari and the turbo era. This design is forever linked to a historic yet tragic season, marked by the death of Gilles Villeneuve and the crash that brought Didier Pironi's racing career to an end. It embodies both Ferrari's competitiveness and the significance of that period. An evolution of the classic red and white scheme, but this time with more red and black dominating, while white is used for strategic details. This livery became legendary as it adorned the Ferrari F18788C, the car that won 15 out of 16 races in 1988. Even though Ferrari didn't clinch the driver's title, this design remains one of the most iconic in history. A bold and vibrant red design with modern rounded lines. It marked a visual shift from the early 80s by using less white. This look coincided with Ferrari's introduction of the revolutionary semi-automatic gearbox, the first in F1. While the car didn't secure a championship, it was a groundbreaking moment for Ferrari's technological evolution. A deep and elegant Ferrari red with a clean and simple design, where white is reduced to subtle accents on the wings. This livery isn't just a timeless beauty. It also represents Ferrari's resurgence in the early 90s, with Alain Prost taking the fight for the championship down to the wire. A striking Marlboro red with the unmistakable white stripe on the engine cover, housing the Marlboro logo. This livery marked the beginning of a new era for Ferrari. It wasn't just about aesthetics. It signaled Michael Schumacher's arrival and set the foundation for Ferrari's dominance in the 2000s. A continuation of the Marlboro red theme, featuring the signature white stripe. While visually similar to previous designs, this livery stands out for bringing Ferrari back to the top, securing the Constructors' Championship for the first time in 16 years. It was the prelude to Ferrari's golden era in the 2000s, making it an unforgettable icon in the team's history. That unmistakable Ferrari red, with white accents that made it stand out. This was the car that kicked off a golden era for the Scuderia, with Michael Schumacher taking it to glory in both the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships. The design kept the essence of the previous year, but with the confidence of a team ready to dominate. The iconic Rosso Corsa still ruled the track, with white details adding contrast. Ferrari reinforced its dominance with this machine, cementing its reign in Formula One. In a heartfelt tribute, the team ran a special livery at Monza, a fully red car with a black nose, honoring the victims of 9/11. A sleeker, more refined look. The signature Ferrari red was now joined by Vodafone as a new sponsor, visible on the rear wing and nose. This wasn't just a great-looking car, it was an absolute beast on track, dominating the season with authority. A continuation of the previous design, but with refined aerodynamics. This car carried the initials GA, in honor of Gianni Agnelli, former president of Fiat. Ferrari was still on top, but the competition was catching up. The red perfection, a sleek, aggressive design that complemented one of the most dominant F1 cars in history. Ferrari absolutely crushed the competition, winning 15 out of 18 races that season. Still red, but with a noticeable change. The nose was taller and wider. This year marked the beginning of Ferrari's decline. A rough start forced the team to bring back a modified version of the F2004, though the livery remained unchanged. Rosso Corsa was still the star, now with a sleeker, more modern design. This car marked the transition to V8 engines, reflected in its name, 248 F1. Ferrari was back in the fight, but the title slipped away. A subtle evolution in design, but still as striking as ever. Ferrari red, black and white sponsor logos, and a machine that brought the Scuderia back to the top. With Kimi Räikkönen behind the wheel, Ferrari reclaimed the championship. A familiar design with slight aerodynamic tweaks. It was a season of ups and downs. Ferrari won the Constructors' Championship but lost the Drivers' title in the final race. The classic Ferrari red, now featuring white elements on the front and rear wings, celebrating Ferrari's 60th anniversary in F1. It was a tough season, and this car struggled to find its rhythm. A return to an all-red look, with the arrival of Santander as a major sponsor. Their white and red logos stood out on the rear wing and side of the car. A clean, aggressive design, built for battle. Similar to the F10, but with a special touch. A green, white and red stripe on the rear wing, celebrating Italy's 150th unification anniversary. Even the car's name paid tribute to this milestone. Ferrari's signature red was still there, but now with sharper lines and a stepped nose, a sign of the new aerodynamic trends. The car was competitive, but not quite enough to fight for the title until the very end. A familiar design with subtle improvements to fix last year's issues. The name F138 combined the year and the number of cylinders, marking the end of an era. This was Ferrari's last V8 engine in Formula One. The classic Ferrari red with black and white details. The F14T name referenced the new turbocharged V6 engine. This car marked the beginning of tough times for Ferrari, as they struggled to compete at the top. A brighter, more vibrant red with black and white accents. A cleaner and more appealing design compared to the F14T. Ferrari showed some improvement, getting back to winning races. Similar to the SF15T with minor tweaks. Bright red remained, along with black and white details. Performance was on par with the previous year. Good, but not enough to challenge for the championship. A darker, matte red with black accents and less white than before. SF70H celebrated Ferrari's 70th anniversary. This car was highly competitive, putting Ferrari back in the title fight. The SF71H's livery brought back Ferrari's classic red, with a dominant Rosso Corsa shade and much less white, reminiscent of the early 2000s cars. The halo was painted red to blend in. While it resembled the successful SF70H, it aimed for a purer, more classic design. A matte Ferrari red with black details. SF90 celebrated Ferrari's 90th anniversary. The car showed promise but fell short of a title challenge. A special dark burgundy red was used at the Tuscany GP to celebrate Ferrari's 1000th race in F1. For the rest of the season, it featured a more traditional red, similar to 2019 but with a simpler design. Performance-wise, this car was a major letdown, with 0 wins all season. A two-tone livery, fading from dark burgundy at the back to a brighter red at the front, symbolizing Ferrari's past and future. The car improved slightly compared to last season. A classic Ferrari red, paying tribute to the team's history, with black details adding an aggressive touch. The design celebrated 75 years since Ferrari's first ever car. This machine started the season strong. An evolution of the F175, keeping the iconic Ferrari red with subtle tweaks in sponsor placement. At the Las Vegas GP, Ferrari surprised everyone with a special white accented livery to celebrate its US legacy. At Monza, the red blended with yellow, in a tribute to Modena's racing heritage. While the SF23 had flashes of brilliance, it struggled with consistency, leaving Ferrari just short of a true title fight. Another evolution of Ferrari's iconic red, now with more black accents and subtle yellow details, paying tribute to the team's legendary liveries. The design is sharper, more aggressive, and built to scream speed and modernity. HP joins as a main sponsor, standing out on the nose and rear wing with its signature blue. This livery is defined by a deeply matte racing red that evokes Ferrari's heritage, complemented by an angled white stripe on the car's engine cover. HP becomes the main sponsor, with its logo contrasting against the white sections of the car and appearing on the front wheels. This design is highly reminiscent of liveries from 1999 or 2002. With this car, Ferrari hopes to be a title contender and put an end to a championship drought that has lasted since 2007, aiming to return to the top of Formula One.